Now, I have a segment called What Did Rip Up Stole from the Original? And this sort of segment, I focus on basically rip offs and compare them to the original. Kind of asking that question, what did they rip off, or did it better, or even is a rip off? Because sometimes it's basically the same genre they fit in using the same sort of tropes. But even that, the original still is a rip up by itself or even inspired by the genre they actually like. Or sometimes the mind blur that sometimes happen, both creators had the same idea in the same time. Yes, this is a thing. There have been other shows have the same creator, have the same idea, the same moment, the same time, sometimes the same day and year. It's just sort of weird sometimes. But just to be aware, there is nothing original, just sort of the same thing now. Where just the question is how you gonna pull it off, or in this case, actually do it a completely different direction. This actually is normal in the interesting, but some people will never understand or have an of saying, oh, this show stole from this other show is a better show. Sometimes not really. The ripoff actually is better than the original. In this case, Roswell Conspiracy is a better show than Men in Black because it sort of followed a more interesting plot, more interesting character, even that they're using a same ideas of the original comic. Yeah, if you don't know, Men in Black was a comic book first, but that comic had more better ideas than stopping aliens, and that's it. They're just police cops for space. But the original idea was they actually take down sort of occult or Santa Claus or this other thing, and that didn't make it sort of unique. Doesn't feel repetitive till Hollywood got their hands and say, no, 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 this is a space cop opera. And that's all it really is. Till Roswell Conspiracy retook the idea and changed it completely different, but feels similar to Men in Black, but took it a very refreshing, not repetitive, interesting direction. For example, I think one of the best ones is the fact both creators kind of inspire sort of the aliens or weird things happening on the forest. Like the Roswell Conspiracy was inspired by the incident of Area 51 sort of things, how there was sort of a prank, and that was sort of the idea of what if sort of organization kind of covers us up, but just sort of using sort of lies and manipulation of this specific organization. And that's the idea of Roswell. To compare Men in Black, Men in Black creator was inspired by sort of people who were actually wearing Men in Black and covering things up, but sort of kind of not sure what they do. They had to have sort of high tech sort of technology, and that's sort of the approach. But yet, even they make them sort of like cops. And Roswell, they're sort of cops-ish, but they're just more the people trying to kind of lowball everything like the organization. Same idea, but completely different approach because Roswell is more the beginning stages of the organization. They do not have very high-tech equipment. They have to quite literally lie to your faces, use newspapers or television to manipulate it or show you something completely different, or just tell you it's a prank. Men in Black, not really. They are very sophisticated. They have decades with new technology and have a good relation with aliens. And Roswell, the organization of that universe, don't. They just sort of borrow or steal or use different ideas to get what needs to be done without using that much high tech. I think a good example is basically the neuralizer, the little machine they use to erase people's minds. That is very useful in Men in Black. They redo it a dozen of times, one specific person if they need to. And just sort of telling a lie and they believe it because that is their truth for the next couple of seconds. Roswell Conspiracy Organization, they do not have nothing like that. They quite literally have to make up stuff or gaslight you in the moment. And that's one of the biggest differences. That small little thing does make huge differences because they had to make a sub-organization in the Roswell conspiracy organization to just basically just non-stop lying, make up backstories, find out what happened to this person and connect it to this person. That has a special team just for that, only that, in the Roswell organization, not in the Men in Black organization. They do not need that, and that is what I mean. What they chose two different approaches, completely different results. Of course, I stop here for a second because I've introduced myself. My name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, to reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, if you like how it's going and like to help my channel, pull a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's fine. If you do, thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people like you. People put like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now let's continue off this sort of compare and contrast of Men in Black and the Roswell's conspiracy. Two basically projects are the same kind of idea but completely different approaches, but at the same time the same inspiration where they both got it from. Even that Men in Black was sort of created back in 1991, and the Roswell conspiracy was 1998. But this is the weird part, that Men in Black was only a comic book first, only lasted 4 or 5 pages. Not because of low sales, they stopped doing the comic. It was sort of a pitch for a movie instead, because the creator saw the potential of this comic. But the original Men in Black was sort of not just aliens. It was basically a lot of weird things. It was aliens. The next chapter is sort of the occult. The next chapter is sort of angels. Once again, it's just sort of which chapter you go and to see how weird and interesting. On top of this, NCJ, well, the Will Smith character in the movie, did not have a choice to join in the organization. He was sort of forced because his life is sort of ruined. Just join us, you have potential. And K kind of be a menace. In other words, he was sort of very threatening, very kind of shady. You don't know, are you using me, or are you trying to tell me a lie? He wasn't sure what to trust K. If you see the original movies, they completely changed the idea. They just focus on the sort of alien aspect, but not focus on the supernatural aspect. And this is the reason why Men in Black itself kind of was stagnant in the films. The animated series is a completely different story because it kind of fits of the sort of detective sort of noir episode by episode. You could go other subgenres of the detective kind of lore, but that's sort of the problem. It became sort of repetitive, but it did have some canon in the animated series. Some characters reintroduced themselves, some characters continue on and repeating, changing sort of the formula, but that only works on television. On live action movies of the Men in Black, they just copy and paste the same story 3 times and never really added anything new, especially the 4th movie that was a reboot. But the show in animated series was actually pretty good, but not amazing. You could see it with a few episodes like, yeah, was good, but it took a while to be great. What if that same idea done the same way, but did it the same original creator's intent, but done it better? This would come from the Roswell conspiracy, because the Roswell conspiracy is sort of the original comic idea that you follow this sort of character called Logan, who quite literally forced to be joined of this sort of kind of rip-off Men in Black organization because he doesn't have really a choice. Because his dad sort of disappeared and given sort of a warning something's going on. On top of this, Logan was a bounty hunter doing his job hunting down someone specifically, and the person he's chasing became something else. Sounds familiar? Exactly like the movie or the TV series that Ancient J find out aliens are real and pretend to be humans. But this is the kicker. he doesn't, the Logan, our main character of Roswell, he doesn't want to join the organization till his father disappear. But also you kind of meet the main villain or the antagonist of the whole series, that be the main leader of this sort of organization called James Ricker. And James is a very questionable leader. He does things when he needs to basically stop the evil aliens or myth or monsters taking over the world. But this is the thing. He's just pure lying. He is sort of exactly the original K from the comic books. That he is that one person you cannot trust. Even that he is the leader of this organization. You cannot know what's his truth, what's a lie. Even his own co-workers do not trust him because he has a sort of aura that I'm doing something behind the scenes. Don't really think about it. Let's just keep doing your job. And that's what makes this super interesting, because they quietly did the same idea of the original Men in Black, but follow it and still make it sort of PG friendly. Even that, some of the ideas, it is sort of, it's interesting. It just grabs you episode by episode, curious what's gonna happen next. Logan gonna follow them, join the group, till he actually trusts them, and every time he have a case to basically stopping sort of alien versus alien war, or human versus alien, or whatever myth they believe, you are sort of second guessing yourself as the audience. Don't know if Logan doing the right thing or not, because Logan, he's not really liking his situation. You could say he kind of is sort of a metaphor of sort of being racist, like a cop, in other words, but yet he want to be good, but yet he doesn't know who to trust because of the organization, of the lies. He doesn't know what to do. Even that, he in the organization finding out what happened to his own father, and that's the thing in making it more interesting. On top of this, he has sort of kind of memories reappearing, memories that he sort of forgot even have. He remembers some other stranger they call father, but it wasn't his father. Now, on top of everything else, yes, there's actually more, that the bad guy wins. At the very beginning, he just wins. And that you don't know. You know, this is not a spoiler. It's something you have to see the whole series and understand what do I mean? What do I mean the bad guy wins the very beginning? And that's the biggest hook of this basically mini franchises. That you don't understand everything, but you want to know more. And this is the thing, just sort of grab you. They drop a little bit, but little nuggets information just keep you intriguing. On top of all this, the show actually be truthful of the sort of myth and legends of the creatures you meet. Like some say aliens sort of like banshee actually are not banshees. They're just a sort of in your race. It's just how people sort of cope or trying to understand what this sort of creature they found in the forest. They call it myth or legends or cryptids. Even that the character I describe is basically the secondary character of the show called Blaze, that she is an alien, or you believe the myth or legend, a banshee who has special abilities only specifically for her bestie kind. But she kind of worked with Nick because he want to help her and her help him. They have this sort of understanding trust, but the only problem is Nick doesn't trust no one because he has no idea what's actually truth. And this makes it sort of interesting. Like every single character has a reason to be in the organization, not because they want to help out, this is justice. No, everybody's there for a reason. Because they don't trust the main CEO of this company or this organization of Ricker. Like, he is the one who is charged, but you don't know why you don't trust him. He uses people. People go back and forth. Should we help this organization or not? Other aliens are not really evil. It's just sort of stuck in sort of situation. You have a rebellion who attempted to attack the organization, but you don't know what. Are they terrorists? They are terrorists, but not. And that's when they make it so complicated. Even this meant for a young audience, they don't hold your hand. They say this stuff is real life, but without actually telling you, it's just sort of metaphors or sort of interpretations of the show. Even though I have to admit, the first 17 episodes, if I remember right, it's kind of clunky. If you watch it, you can watch it for free on Tubi, but the episodes are just kind of clunky. That's why I really want them to reboot the series, because he has so much potential. He has more balls than Men in Black, because they're just too scared to ruin Men in Black because Will Smith's performances, how HJK and JJ are just good friends, and their original comic not really. So if you're a fan of Men in Black, the original, or you want more Men in Black but a little bit more serious, I highly recommend watching Roswell Conspiracy. You can find it on Tubi for free, the whole series. In fact, the series is not that long. It's a total of 40 episodes. Of course, Men in Black is one of those series that you can't really say nothing really that good. You could say the TV or anime series was good, but the movies, just the first one was good. The rest of it just sort of kind of questionable, because you can't really go back to it. Only the first one, and that's it. Even the reboot wasn't really good for the Men in Black franchise. This is the reason why people want them to adapt the original comic, like exactly how it was. That make it sort of rated R, because the original comic, it was sort of risky. I don't mean sexually or anything. I mean risky. You've seen K shooting a beast and blowing his own brains out. That's how hardcore it actually was. You could see people coming back watching this sort of a rated R type of film or TV series with full potential, just going out of the supernatural element and the alien, keeping it different. You could make it a live action TV series instead, but yet not really. You could tell how more excited that I am of Roswell Conspiracy than Men in Black, because I did love the movies, but the sequels kind of ruined my love to it. I just don't care very much. I do like the anime series, but even that, it has sort of its own problems nowadays. That is, it is repetitive, but creative, fun repetitive, but all of that is sort of up to you how you feel about it. This is the reason I highly recommend Roswell Conspiracy, because it is a better show. Ironically, it's just sort of a ripoff, but you understand animation takes a long time to do. It could take about 2 years. Hell, it could probably took 9 years to produce Roswell Conspiracy. We don't know how long it took to be created, how long will be in the background burning them mentally in the creator's own mind, trying to figure out how to make it work. On top of this, I like Roswell Conspiracy, at least it's more to the theories of the fans of aliens or myths and legends of some specific creature, like the Bigfoot or the Yeti. They are actually aliens of Roswell and Conspiracy, because they sort of kind of hit each other. The Yetis and the Bigfoots, different race, look similar, but once again, it leans to that sort of commentary of racism, that they hit each other, but why? They actually go in deeper in that kind of moment in the series. Even that show is not perfect, it does something so unique that you kind of forgive it, and that's the reason why I enjoy it. In fact, the best way to describe the Roswell Conspiracy sort of written style, it's something like the Dragon Prince sort of style, at least the first 3 seasons of it. And that's the best way to describe it, but not wholesome, more kind of mature, adult. In fact, believe it or not, they attempted to reboot it in the YA sort of book version of it. I have not chance to read it. I've not heard everybody talking about it, so I don't know if it's any good. It's one of the series that deserves to have a reboot. Men in Black itself, I really don't know what to do with it. It's something that I can't really I can't even say do a reboot. They tried that and then mess it up because of Will Smith, because Will Smith is just too likable. Even with the slap incident, he still attracts people to watch the films, even that it's not really good anymore, even that it just repeating the same idea again and again. But if they can make it sort of rated R, be true to the original comic, it still have a chance, but it obvious. I could say I prefer a Roswell Conspiracy. In fact, have you seen that version? Do you like it? If not, tell me down below. Even you heard it. In fact, you could probably find it free on YouTube or on Tubi. That's also free here in the West if you live here in America nowadays. If not, I highly recommend you could find it. You could find the DVD set on probably Walmart or somewhere for $1 nowadays. Yeah, people don't believe you could find the DVD set for $1. Like at least season 1. Season 2 is sort of kind of hard to find because they bought the rights to make the DVD, but at the last minute they just sort of only did the first season. The second season they never did for some apparent reason. I don't know, but I highly recommend you could find it free on YouTube nowadays. Now, Men in Black. Honestly, you can't say much because it's just so well known. They did almost everything, but that's what I felt. In fact, do you believe Men in Black and Roswell Conspiracy are ripoff of the other one? Or you just say, like me, it's not such thing a ripoff. It's just execution that only counts. And that's sort of my opinion of it. Of course, it's up to you which you prefer or which you've actually heard. The Roswell Conspiracy, I'm 100% sure nobody heard about that much, only if you're a 90s kid, or basically Men in Black, because it's sort of obvious, because the Will Smith sort of charm nowadays. Tell me down below what you think, it was a good comparison or not, or what. Tell me down below. I got nothing else to say, just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.